Today's question comes from Jimmy in Kentucky. My wife and I are on baby step 3 and would love to buy a home, but we're nowhere near able to put down money on a house. We are concerned that the market will continue to increase before we can get a down payment saved up. Can we use my VA loan to take advantage of the 0% down payment to get into a house sooner and refinance in 3 to 5 years? Jimmy, I'm going to say no. I mean, VA loans, it's not a great option. I mean, there's so much with the fees, everything that is in that. It makes it a difficult mortgage. And
between FHA, VA, and conventional, it's the most expensive. Unless you are disabled. If you're a fully disabled veteran, then they waive a lot of the fees and stuff. But it's not a good deal for you. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to find a way to game the system. You know, you want to scam the system, and the system isn't broke, and it means delayed pleasure. And yes, house prices are going to continue to go up. They're not going to continue to go up like they have been. The market has slowed down substantially. We anticipate real estate prices in the year 2022 to go up about 7%. Next year, 23, which is when you would be buying a house, or 24, they're going to go up 4 to 5% a year. That is not going to price you out of the market, Jimmy. What will price you out of the market is doing it dumb and moving into something when you're broke and you have no down payment and you're not ready to buy. You're going to get in a problem. You're going to create friction here in your life. It's not going to be fun, and you're going to turn. We want you to have a house. We don't want the house to have you.
Yeah, and that's what ends up happening so much. We talked about it on the show yesterday with George, that your home, it's such an emotional thing, right? It's like where your family is. It's where you sleep at night. It's where you do your meals. I mean, like it's such an emotional part of your life. And so many people rush into that. So it's an emotional part of your life, and it's the most expensive part of your life. It's usually the largest purchase you ever make. And so because of that, it's like people make not wise decisions when it comes to their money with their houses, because they just let their emotions get ahead of them, whether it's fear, whether it's longing for something.
Plus, there's all these stupid people that are around you telling you all the time to buy something. You got to buy a house. 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 You can't be a renter. You got to buy a house. Everybody, oh God, you're going to get priced out. Okay. And what is your beautician, an economist? The lady doing your nails is not an economist. Oh my God. So stop listening to these broke people with their craziness, because I've heard that for 30 years.
Yeah.
For 30 years, I've heard I'm going to get priced out of the market. And I can tell you, real estate's considerably more expensive than when I started this show 30 years ago. but and it'll be more expensive 30 years from now when you're still doing the show. So, but God willing, the creek don't rise. But oh my gosh. But there's a lot of outside pressure, family members and everybody else. Oh, you hadn't bought a house yet? So you've been married 26 seconds and you hadn't bought a house? Oh my God. And there's all this craziness out there.
Well, that, and then on top of all the emotion of just the recent real estate, I mean, all of it, right? So it's I don't know, there's a lot going on. 2020
was one of the highest increases in house prices in history.
Yeah.
Of all time. I mean, in modern history. And 29% it went up. Oh my, that's unbelievable. Yeah. Unprecedented, as they say in the COVID language. But oh my gosh. Yeah, that's just crazy. And so it scares the crud out of you. But that's not going to be what happens going forward. It's also not going to crash. For those of you waiting on the prices to go down.
Well, let's talk about this, because there's been so much, I feel like even in the recent probably like week or two, about the real estate market, because I read an article this morning, the 7 cities where it continues to increase substantially, right? So so I read that. And then there are places though that you're seeing prices
go down.
And so the important thing there is to remember that still sellers, some of them are still in the mindset of, oh, I can make so much.
They're still looking for a sucker coming from another city.
So when you're seeing those prices, I just want to know your thoughts on it. Is it going back to just true home value of what the house is really worth versus the inflated prices?
Yeah.
And so when do you know what your house is valued at? Like a true value after all the craziness of it going up so fast? Is it that you can you still run comps? Do you know what I mean?
Because going up so fast is a reality. Okay, so the definition of market value for real estate, when I was in appraisal class 1,000 years ago, is still in college, is still the definition. And every real estate test you ever take to get your real estate license is when a willing buyer meets a willing seller and neither are under duress. Okay?
Webster. I'm going to
Okay.
call you Webster.
Well, I mean, so here's the deal. So you have a buyer and a seller,
technical.
and neither one of them are freaking out. Okay. The seller is not motivated by a divorce or a bankruptcy or something else. Okay. The buyer is not over motivated because the last 3 houses they put offers in they didn't get. And so the marketplace is so white hot that the buyer is under duress. And so some of these buyers were paying above market value, but their purchase does not enter into an appraisal. That property is not an actual indicator of value.
Okay.
Because one of the parties was under duress.
Yes.
You can't use a foreclosure on your street does not affect the value of your house because one of the parties was under duress.
Okay.
So that's not a value,
so then
that's
how
a price.
Are you, so how are people out there that are wanting to buy or sell, like, how do you run comps now? Because I'm like, usually you just run comps.
You run comps, and if one of them sticks up and shows...
But they all are going to stick up, right?
Maybe. I mean, if everybody was a white-hot buyer in the whole area, then the value probably has gone up.
Yeah.
Because the marketplace was in duress in that sense.
Right.
But if you got some one-offs, like, we talked about during the thing, I live in a neighborhood where, like almost all the houses that sold it's a nice neighborhood, sold recently were California people moving in with California equity, and the Tennessee people are sitting there going, I got a sucker on the hook here.
Yeah.
They're going to way overpay because they can't get a house. There's a shortage, and so they're overpaying substantially over value. And so enough of that happens, then other people get greedy and they're like, well, I didn't really want to sell my house, but if I could sell it for that, I'd sell it.
Yeah, 100%.
What the heck? And one of the guys I was playing golf with, we talked about that during the streaming thing that we're doing. He goes, I put mine on the market, I put an extra $200,000 on it looking for one of those California suckerfish. I'm going to hook me one, and it didn't sell.
Yeah.
And he said, I haven't been able to hook one, so the market has calmed down.
Yep.
The market has calmed down. And the migration from California or New York or wherever into these other markets, southeastern markets primarily, is slowed down.
Yep.
But we've had 1 million plus people displaced from just California and New York.
Yeah.
Just those 2 states moved out into other markets. And it adversely affects what is a real value.
Yes,
but
so that's
real
what's hard.
value should be based on a calm, reasonable, wise transaction by both parties.
Yes.
And even that goes up 3 to 5% a year.
Yep. It's good.